Happy 2017, everyone. My first post for the year is actually a wrap-up in movies from 2016. So I've created 10 categories to do a little quick year in review. It was also a busy and fun year as far as like Philly foodie events is concerned, but that wrap-up is always on my Philly Spotlight page, so you can always get a rundown of that. This is just movies. The first movie I saw in 2016 was 45 Years, starring two actors, Charlotte Rampling and Tom Courtenay. Technically, it was part of last year's awards season, but in Philly, the movie was released in January. 45 Years is one of those unassuming, quiet, yet very powerful and memorable films about an older couple examining their marriage in light of some unexpected news. I remember I went to the Bryn Mawr Film Institute for the screening, and after, the Inquirer's film critic Stephen Ray, is it Ray or Ree? I guess it's Ray, moderated a discussion which I videotaped, and then the excerpts are still on Tinsel Tine's YouTube channel. Here's the movies that I felt were most overlooked in 2016. First of all, Race, the biopic about four-time Olympic gold medalist Jesse Owens, played by Stephen James, who competed in the Olympics in Germany under Hitler's rule. And then Jodie Foster's Money Monster. I mean, Jodie Foster's movies usually get more attention than that. I was so surprised. Money Monsters features George Clooney as a Jim Cramer type host of a stock market show, which gets held hostage by a disgruntled investor. Another movie that I really, really loved, I guess it's probably my third favorite movie of the year, is Queen of Katwe, directed by Mira Nair. It's about the real-life Ugandan chess prodigy Fiona Mutsi. It also stars David Oyelowo as her coach and Lupita Nyong'o as her mother. It's a beautiful movie, so well done. Disney, and yet when I talk to people, most people have never even heard of it. A Bigger Splash was great. I really recommend that as something to stream. It stars Tilda Swinton as a rock star on holiday in the Mediterranean with her younger boyfriend, played by Matthias Schoenaerts. Then when her ex-manager / lover, played by Ray Fiennes, shows up with his supposed daughter, played by Dakota Johnson, the two of them disrupt their holiday completely, and it goes in really strange places. It's a good movie. Then I was really happy that I had 3 independent filmmakers specifically send me their screeners and ask me if I would do a write-up. I really hope more of that happens this year. It's fun, it's flattering, it's interesting to delve into some more like indie films, like real indie films. The first one was How to Plan an Orgy in a Small Town, written and directed by Jeremy Lalonde. It really is about what the title suggests. It is actually just short of pornographic, but on the whole, I'd consider it more of a comedy in the vein of like a Christopher Guest movie. And then, I guess because I posted that, 2 filmmakers / actresses, Tara Karazian and Andrea Grano, sent me their film called BFFs, and it's about best friends who go away on a couples retreat for a prepaid vacation, but they have to pose as a lesbian couple in order to qualify for the free trip. And then while they're there, they start to examine if their close friendship could actually be more. Frank J. Petka and Pat Taggart sent me their documentary, The Billboard Boys, and that's about an 80s Allentown radio station contest where 3 contestants, all male, competed to see how long they could live up on a billboard to win a modular home, a really ugly, like $15,000 modular home, but they were all willing to stick it out. It's a very interesting documentary because it makes you feel like you're living the whole thing again, and it has that like reality show mentality, even though this took place in the early 80s. Surprisingly, this turned out to be my most viewed post of the year. And then, because you know how much I love superhero comic book universe type films, I would say that those were the most anticipated films of 2016 for me. Like X-Men Apocalypse, Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, Captain America Civil War, Suicide Squad, and of course Doctor Strange. I would say I was happy with all of them. Captain America Civil War definitely gets top honors, followed closely by Doctor Strange. Suicide Squad was most definitely the weakest of them, but it was saved by Margot Robbie's, outstanding performance as Harley Quinn. And now, just as a glimpse into 2017, I have to say I'm looking forward to the Lego Batman movie, which comes out February 10th. Who could have predicted the original Lego movie, when it came out in 2014, would rack up over $400 million worldwide? But it really was an infectious and clever movie. And one of the best characters, of course, was Will Arnett as the Lego Batman. So that should be great. Then we have Logan out on March 3rd. This is the third standalone Wolverine movie starring Hugh Jackman as the indestructible X-Men superhero. This movie is based on the Marvel Old Man Logan comic books, I understand. And I also understand that it's Hugh Jackman's last Wolverine movie, and that they'll be kind of looking for a new Wolverine after that. But I don't know whether that means he won't be in any more of the X-Men movies. To me, I don't think Hugh Jackman is aging enough that you feel like you need to get a younger Wolverine. I mean, I don't know. I read that, and I hope that that's actually wrong. Most anticipated, of course, is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. That's out June 17th, which, of course, brings back the director, James Gunn, and the whole awesome cast. Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, and a new mixtape soundtrack. Then we have Wonder Woman out June 3rd. We got introduced to Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman in Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, and she seems to have what it takes to hold her own, in her own movie, so that should be good. And then surprisingly, though, I'm surprised because, there's other characters in the Wonder Woman movie, that they're also releasing Justice League in the same year. You think you would stretch that out a little bit. I mean, Wonder Woman's in June and Justice League doesn't come out until November, but it still seems like a lot of DC happening at the same time. But, I'll be there. And then the summer also brings Spider-Man Homecoming, July 7th. Tom Holland is now the latest Peter Parker / Spider-Man, and he was introduced in Captain America Civil War. Iron Man is going to be in Spider-Man Homecoming, of course, Robert Downey Jr., and he'll act as Peter Parker's mentor. And then lastly, we also get Thor Ragnarok, I think you pronounce it. That's in November as well. We saw Chris Hemsworth at the end of Doctor Strange, so that means we get more Benedict Cumberbatch and his equally appealing cape. I think I'm not going to do a category of like the worst film of the year because I'm trying to be more positive than that, but I will say that the most disappointing movie of 2016 was Ghostbusters, and not because of the casting of the women. That was great cast, but the script was just really badly handled and all the jokes were DOA. The most disturbing movie was Elle Fanning in Neon Demon. Nicholas Winding Refn's Neon Demon just took me to places I wasn't expecting. I will just say one word if you haven't seen it: cannibalism. We saw a lot of foodie movies in 2016. There were a few I missed and still need to catch up on, like the pickle recipe was one I know. But of the ones that I did see, Sausage Party, created by Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, Jonah Hill. They created this, crazy animated personification of food in a grocery store. Oftentimes it goes way too far, politically incorrect, and ends in a graphic food orgy. But I have to say, it took food porn to a whole new level. It seemed like, and I'd have to go back and see if other years have had this many animated movies, but other than Sausage Party, we had, a huge amount of animated movies, particularly animal animation. We had Zootopia, and Angry Birds, and Finding Dory, and Kung Fu Panda 3, Storks, The Secret Lives of Pets, Peace Dragon, Ice Age Collision, and Sing. And then, for other animation, we had Justin Timberlake's Can't Stop the Music, give trolls a bit of a lift. 2016's Sexiest Man Alive, Dwayne Johnson, gave voice to a demigod in Moana. The critics went wild for Kubo and the Two Strings. I would say my favorite was a toss-up between the sheer nuttiness of The Secret Life of Pets, particularly Kevin Hart as a maniacal bunny rabbit. And then there was a really wonderful message to Zootopia, which kind of shows the dangers of judging people by who you assume they are, instead of finding out who their true nature is. And so I think that was probably just the best written of all the animated movies for this past year. I got to do a lot of wonderful interviews. Thank you, Allied, for providing the access. My favorite, I have to say, I felt like I had a really good rapport with Matt Johnson and Matt Miller. They created the movie Operation Avalanche that supposes if the moon landing were faked, it was carried out by junior Harvard graduate FBI agents who are also independent filmmakers. And it's funny, while you're watching the movie, you think, maybe could the moon landing have been faked? You think about these conspiracy theories, and then, a couple months later, you see Hidden Figures, and you're so impressed by these women that, were part of NASA that you think, no, that it couldn't have been a hoax. But still, Operation Avalanche is a good movie, and it was a great interview, and it's up on Tinsel Tine's YouTube page as well. Then I got to interview Damien Chazelle during the Philadelphia Film Festival. He, of course, is the writer and director of Whiplash and La La Land. So I felt really lucky, considering all the press and attention that movie musical is getting. I think it's going to sweep at the Golden Globes and probably the Oscars. And then I had that awesome opportunity to interview somebody as high profile as Tyler Perry. I never would have thought I'd get a chance when he was in Philly promoting Bua Madea Halloween. I was upset, though, that he just refused to take a picture with anybody. I begged the handler, I said I would just ask one question as far as interviewing is concerned, if I could just get a picture with him, because that just goes so much further with the subscribers and stuff. And he just, said he doesn't do pictures, and that kind of threw things off. But the interview's still good. But I think the most fun interview was with Ice Cube and Deion Cole for Barbershop 3, The Next Cut. They were just plain cool, and the atmosphere was so casual and chill. Then I have a category of a TV show that felt more like a movie, which was Stranger Things. I actually have a friend who told me that I really, really should watch this show. I'd heard about it, and but I hadn't really had it on my list of things to watch on Netflix. It's one of the Netflix original series. It's created by the Duffer Brothers. And it's really just a loving homage to some of 80's most beloved movies, like Lean on Me, Goonies, Poltergeist, E.T., several Stephen King movies, and Heathers, which actually starred Winona Ryder, who's the big name in this show. along with a real 80s throwback, Matthew Modine. Remember Matthew Modine? So Stranger Things is set in a small fictional town of called Hawkins, Indiana, where nothing usually happens until this young kid goes missing, and then we start to find out about a government laboratory in town that's doing experiments to create human weapons. One said weapon, a young girl played excellently by Millie Bobby Brown, accidentally opens a portal to an alternate universe, and it just, I mean, you just have to see it. The story unfolds in just the right pacing for the 8 episodes, giving just the right amount of time to each character. It is horror, which I usually, kind of stay away from, but the humor is so on point, and, anyone who loves 80s nostalgia has to watch this show. And so that brings us to category number 10, which is favorite films of 2016. So, all the really good films, of course, get smushed into the end of the year so that they are eligible for Golden Globes and Oscars without people having to remember back to what came out last March or April. And we all fall into it. I will say that a movie that I wished had gotten some attention, and also, not just the movie, but Sally Fields in Hello, My Name is Doris. Like, that is the cutest, funniest, quirkiest movie I've seen in a long time. And she's excellent in it, and you just heard nothing about it. That's actually, I guess, another one that falls under the overlooked category. But, I definitely have to say Denzel Washington's Fences is a masterpiece of acting. I mean, as far as direction is concerned, he pretty much kept it in the vein of a staged play in a way, just bringing it into real life. It works, though. I think it works, and I'm so happy that my blogging friend, Tanisha Jolin, agreed to write the post for Fences for Tinsel Tine, because she just writes beautifully, and she captured the feeling of the movie so perfectly. So I hope everybody reads her review. Of course, I wrote a big thing about Nate Parker's Birth of a Nation, how disappointed I was that people didn't get behind it because of his personal, troubles from his youth. I, didn't want to dismiss what the allegations had been, but I didn't feel as though he in the movie should be penalized for that, and it's a very good movie, and it should have received more critical acclaim. I don't love it myself, but I can understand why people are crazy for Kenneth Lonegren's Manchester by the Sea. I enjoyed Tom Ford's Nocturnal Animals. I think that deserved a hearty nod, for direction, and it's beautifully shot. It's Amy Adams is good in it. It's interesting storyline. I think my second place winner for Best Film of 2016 is Denis Villeneuve's Arrival, starring Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner. Of course, about making contact with alien beings. I really like the mix of science and spirituality, and the way they fit in the global aspects. It's all very thoughtful and conceivable, and I actually kind of want to just see it again. However, my pick for Best Film of 2016 is Hidden Figures. I've seen it twice now, and I've cried tears of joy each time. I'm so glad these amazing women with incredible minds have now been publicly recognized for their gifts and talents which contributed to our country's space travel. I never would have known women, let alone women of color, worked at NASA in the turbulent 60s. And then to find out they made significant contributions in the area of math and science and getting the first man on the moon is really just mind-blowing. But more than this, it's a good movie. It's lively. At times it's humorous. Pharrell Williams' soundtrack perfectly captures the sound of the times. Taraji P. Henson was snubbed for the Golden Globes nomination. I think that's horrible, both for this movie and for Empire. Let's hope the Academy gives her her due. She really holds you in rapt attention as she just, has to navigate her way through a white man's world and still find time to raise 3 daughters and fall in love. The other leads, Octavia Spencer and Janelle Monáe, are incredible as well. And I think what I love most about the characters in the movie is that all 3 women, and the names of the real women that existed, Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson, were all so proactive. Like, they never just waited their turn or thought, I'm just lucky to be here at all. They each made goals in their areas of expertise and then saw them through with heart and inventiveness, and it's something to see how they progress without having to ask anybody for anything, but at the same time, you just have to see it. And then, of course, Kevin Costner, Jim Parsons, and Kirsten Dunst, who's aged quite a bit, also have excellent roles in telling this American story. And so that's our little wrap-up of 2016. Looking forward to what's in store for the coming year. Thank you for following and reading and listening to Tinsel Tine. I'm Leanne Lindsay, editor.